It's hard to compete with that.
It's a pretty good sandwich.
That's a phenomenal pick. That wasn't even on my radar.
No, he shocked the world.
Here's mine. It's a hamburger made out of meat on a bun with nothing.
I'm so disappointed. I thought that you and I were going to have a real challenge.
Never mind, this is better. Way better.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, it's so much better. It's crazy.
Welcome to the iKnowBadeaux podcast.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the iKnowBadeaux podcast. Coming at you from the Slice on Oak Studios. I am Mayor Dave Badeaux, the city bringer. With me, as always, is my brother.
Eternal damnation and torture.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gabriel Johnson, see you over there. What's up?
You know, today is election day.
It is.
And don't vote for that dirty, rotten commie.
So I've become friends with school shooters.
Okay.
I say don't vote for the guy that can't read.
Tim Walz?
And I'm a knucklehead at times.
Ladies and gentlemen, with us this week, we have a guest. Please welcome Sammy Holladay.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, Sam, dude, I got to stop doing that. That's the second time I've done that. Sam, try again.
Thank you for having me.
There we go. Sam, we have a thing on the podcast. 30 seconds to explain yourself. Go.
So about a year ago, I moved into Brainerd. I started working for Lakeland PBS as a news reporter, and it's been a year, and my contract is up, and I didn't want to renew. I wanted to get the hell out of this hellscape of a wasteland. I wanted to get out of here. Didn't want to see a real winter, as everyone tells me that last winter wasn't a real winter. So it's back home to California after this.
Well, see you later.
All right, we'll accept that. We'll talk to you later about some things. But one of the things I did learn about Sam is that Sam likes sandwiches. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Draft Day. Regional Sandwich Edition.
Okay.
As always, for Draft Day, we have a list of items, in this case, sandwiches from different regions within the United States. We have 12 of them. Each of us must select 2 of those 12, and each of us may select one that is not from that list as well. Snake draft, down and back. Sammy's going to go first. I'll go last. Whip it around, go the other way. But the goal of this is to try and get yourself a nice smattering of delicious, delicious sandwiches, also while representing, I would say, the best sandwiches as well.
Yes.
So, thoughts on regional sandwiches before we get started?
I like them.
I'm a big fan of sandwiches. I'm sure you can tell by looking at me.
Yeah, literally brought you on for the sandwich episode.
I am a self-proclaimed sandwich expert.
Okay.
I know a lot about these sandwiches. I know a little bit about the history of some of them, and I just can't get enough sandwiches in my life.
Yeah. Do you know where the term sandwich comes from?
The Earl of Sandwich.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
Congratulations.
That would have been pretty fraudulent of me if first like, oh, you're a sandwich expert. Where does it come from? Yeah.
All right. Just making sure.
No goddamn idea.
You are one pathetic loser.
All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to give you the list. I'm going to give you the region-ish of where they're from as well, at least in terms of where we view them from. I'm sure there's some argument on that as well.
Yeah, we're doing the Team America version.
Most certainly.
They were close.
Very, very stereotypical of where they're from.
Yeah.
You know, there might be some people in the comment section that might get mad and claim some sandwiches for their region, but probably,
the lobster roll was obviously invented in Missouri.
Very, very clearly. All right, so here's the list as we have created. The Made-Rite, also known as the loose meat sandwich. Mm-hmm. We're giving that a moniker of Iowa.
Yep.
The Philly, obviously coming from Philadelphia. The Cuban from Florida. The Po' Boy from Louisiana. The Chicago Italian beef.
Yes.
Lobster Roll from New England. The chopped cheese, which this one I think is maybe argumentative, but we're giving it New York City.
It's Harlem.
Yeah, we're going, and let's do it. Let's go Harlem. Then we've got the Taylor ham, which in this case, I would say this is our breakfast sandwich variety, but also could just be a fried bologna as well. That's from New Jersey.
They're going to kill you for calling it fried bologna.
No.
If anyone from New Jersey hears you calling a Taylor ham fried bologna, they might find where you live.
So here's what I'm saying. I'm saying not that the Taylor ham is a fried bologna. However, if you drafted fried bologna, I would say that counts as the Taylor ham.
Again, you're
I'm not saying, but I'm saying.
I'm saying. Next, we've got pastrami on rye, just straight New York deli. The Coney Dog from Detroit. The pork tenderloin from the Midwest. And the California Double, one of them beautiful, beautiful cheeseburgers from the fantastic Golden State. Any comments on any of those before we get started, other than the fact that you think I'm going to get in trouble for referring to them as adjacent? It is bologna adjacent.
They're gonna find out. They're gonna dox you.
Actually,
for sure.
to tell you the truth, I would. Well, have you ever had?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I have. Have you ever had?
Nope.
Okay, so Gabe?
Never heard of it.
Okay, it's definitely not bologna. Like it's
ham.
It's closer to like salami.
Yeah.
It's heavy in the fat, but once you fry it up and you cut you do the clip on it so it lays flat, and then if you laid that next to bologna and said like, "Hey, what is this?"
Yeah,
fried
sure,
bologna?
but we're talking about some of the most sensitive people in
this is
America,
true. This
so
is true.
they're very snobby and.
I would also say, well, you're making it way worse.
They're some of the worst people. There's some of the worst people in the country. There's some of the worst people in the country that like to complain about everything. So
then who gives a shit?
I was waiting for him to just say, "Fuck them, I don't care."
I would say this: if you're putting bologna on a breakfast sandwich, you're out of your goddamn mind. All right, let's get this baby started.
Now, there's some Texans that are going to be mad that you said that.
The second biggest group of pussies.
I'm so fucking glad that you're going back to California in 2 days. Get you out of here. All right, Sam, you have drawn the largest straw. Go ahead and give us the first item off the board. The 1-1 selection in the regional sandwich draft goes to.
People are going to say, why didn't you take the obvious one being from California? But I think the best sandwich on this list is a pastrami on rye.
Oh,
when pastrami is done right, there really just isn't any beating it at all whatsoever. And you get a good rye bread. You get the flavor of those caraway seeds is just so damn good. You get a good mustard, maybe some pickles if pickles tickle your fancy, but really a good pastrami sandwich. There's just not much beating it.
Okay, so now this is coming from a sandwich guy. So I'm going to say this. Pastrami really surprises me because from a meat perspective, I'm put that fucker over fire and let's eat, right? Pastrami is like it's a long process.
I've made a pastrami myself. You gotta get a good brisket and just have it brining for literally a week.
Yeah,
and pat it dry. Then you gotta smoke it. Then you gotta. I usually just wrap it, leave it in the smoker to get it steamed up and get it tender. But some people go the extra mile and actually steam it as well. But it's a labor of love, and when it's done right, you can taste the labor.
I can tell you this: the fact that it's on rye bread and it's still delicious is amazing because rye bread can fuck right off, all the way off.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with that. If it was a pastrami on sourdough, it's probably the best sandwich ever. But the New Yorkers had to fuck it up with the rye bread.
That's right. Caraway seeds totally underrated as well. Absolutely underrated. Scott, thought on pastrami on rye?
It's a great choice. I mean, I think we mentioned last week or the week before that brisket might be the best thing on the planet.
Yeah,
and then you do all this stuff to it, season it. I fucking love pastrami.
I debated putting just this, and talk about Texans. I debated putting just a straight Texas brisket sandwich on here, but there's
Very different.
very different. And I think in terms of the list, you could absolutely go there. If you wanted to go with a brisket sandwich, I would absolutely support that. But the pastrami on rye, there's just something about it, and it's so unique. Like even if you did like a corned beef, which is a similar type of process,
Right.
It's just not
corned beef and pastrami are basically the same thing, except the pastrami goes the extra mile with the bark on the extra seasoning.
Exactly.
Which, if you have the choice between corned beef and pastrami,
it's not even
I
a choice.
really question your choices if you're just choosing corned beef. You probably should lose most of your rights if you choose corned beef over pastrami.
I agree to that. All right, pastrami on rye off the board. I'm actually surprised by that, but I will not argue against it. I think in terms of straight sandwiches, I mean, you're talking about something super simple, but really complex on the meat end of things. Delicious.
Do you do hot or cold?
I'd prefer it hot. A sandwich is usually better hot.
I agree.
And one thing, too, that we need to add is these damn New Yorkers and their delis charging $30 to $35 for a fucking sandwich. They're out of their fucking minds.
I fully support. If you got the goods, you charge. Listen.
If people will pay.
I've got a couple of things in front of us. Food ain't cheap anymore, man. Food ain't cheap anymore. But
good food ain't cheap.
All right, Gabe, thought pastrami on rye. Get in that mic.
Delicious fucking sandwich. I mean, brisket is the best meat.
Yes.
The care and focus that it takes to create a pastrami, delicious.
Yeah, and again, my thoughts on meat, straight brisket would be more my style. Like, I just like meat that's been flamed. I love it. I love that little bit of...
You're a flamer, huh?
A little bit. Well, we all know that. That's fine. But yeah, could you get a more tender, flavorful chunk? Off the board. Scott, you're next. Number 2.
I'm going with the Philly.
I knew that was going to happen. You are a Philly guy.
I love Phillies.
Do you put cheese whiz on it?
I've never tried it with whiz. I am a white American.
Interesting.
Yes, you are.
And I also like the white American cheese.
Interesting. You go onion as well, obviously?
Yep, just onions. I don't do peppers or mushrooms or anything.
No mushrooms. I would say no to the mushrooms. Peppers, I'm all on board for.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Peppers for sure.
Peppers for sure. Okay.
Yep. I go mayo as well.
Okay.
Yep. So mayo, the shaved beef, white American, and the onions.
Yeah, you go white American and mayo. You're basically making cheese whiz, anyways.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I knew you were going to pick this because I know you and I know you love a Philly.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good sandwich. What I love about the Philly is the idea that you can have two places directly across from one another and still have them both be wildly successful.
Right.
And you can have two very different versions of this sandwich that doesn't end up being something different. I think I think a lot of sandwiches on this list, you change a couple things and it's a totally different sandwich.
Right.
All right. Gabe, thoughts?
Why the fuck would you put cheese whiz on a sandwich?
You guys have never had
I have
it.
not.
Okay, so I haven't had, I've never had it from Philadelphia, but I have had it with cheese whiz, and it's pretty good.
I believe it.
It's just add some extra salt.
It's a lot of salt.
Yeah.
It's a lot of salt. Cheese whiz is pretty good.
Processed cheese product.
Yeah,
which is what American is.
Yeah, when you have the choice of going real cheese or cheese whiz, it really, again, about taking people's rights away. We should probably be in the business of doing
For
that.
taking away for the whiz?
Yes.
My God.
If you have
access to actual cheese?
provolone or cheese whiz, if you're saying, yeah, I'll do the whiz,
You guys
probably punishment should be
You don't get to own a gun anymore.
You do.
at least that. I'm talking send them to Guantanamo Bay.
Welcome to Guantanamo Bay. You boys like to spoon?
A great sandwich. I would not put it in my top 5. I'm going to come out and say that.
You're fucking crazy.
I think it's delicious.
I don't know how you can go wrong with meat, cheese, and onions.
You can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong.
And the amoroso roll.
Yeah, a
crispy on the outside, but still tender.
good bread is
destroy
essential.
your mouth.
Yeah,
that's my biggest problem.
Cracks up the roof of your
with
mouth.
Sandwiches.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Okay. Well, boys, the Philly's off the board. Gabriel Johnson, step us up. Let's go.
I'm going to go give a tip of the cap to my fellow communist-hating Americans. And I'm going with the Cuban.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
It's just the best ham sandwich.
All right, you can't really argue against that. You cannot argue against that is the best ham sandwich. My problem with it, I'm not a ham guy. I'm just not a ham guy. But it is the best ham sandwich. Worst turkey sandwich, best ham sandwich.
Mm-hmm. That's all I got to say about that.
So it's ham. Is it pork tenderloin?
Marinated pork, slow roasted. It's usually sliced.
Right.
Pickles, Swiss cheese, mustard. Yeah. Pressed.
Yes.
And it's got to be. It's got to be. It's got. And it can't be. The pickled chips. It's got to be the long. The long slices of pickle, and it has to be pressed. That is essential.
Right. It's not a Cuban if it's not pressed.
I think that this is where you start to get into what's cool about the regional sandwiches is that typically it is immigrants from one area coming to another area in the U.S. and then their food becoming this mash of what's available and what their tastes are. A lot of German, right? A lot of German settlers coming in and then creating the, beef and onion. Essentially, just all over in the Midwest, they went crazy for that stuff. But the Cuban is it's so wildly specific, but yet it's such a simple sandwich.
Yeah, it's simple in the fact that there's one way to do it, and really you can't deviate from that. It's not a complicated sandwich in terms of you got to do this, and this. It's just there's these ingredients. You use them. It's simple cooking techniques as well that make it simple food.
Yeah, I like it.
It's for the poors.
Most of these are. Yeah. Most of these are for the
sandwiches
poors.
Are for poor people. Yes, I don't eat sandwiches.
But, and they become a regional delicacy because of that. Like regional burgers, which we're going to do an episode on regional burgers as well. That's all based off of what the poor people could afford to eat,
and they make the best food.
Yeah. I'm just not a ham guy. So Callie, huge into ham. She loves a Cuban. I like a Cuban. Like the tenderloin in there really gets it going a little bit for me. And I'm huge on pickle and mustard.
Yes.
Huge on pickle and mustard.
Well, mustard on ham is delicious.
Yeah. It's just a great combo. Yeah. Great combo. Throw some onion in there and you got me, probably.
Grilled onions, caramelized onions, they make everything better.
Mm-hmm. All right. Any final thoughts on the Cuban or the Cubano?
No.
Nope. I think it's a good choice. It's not my choice.
It's a good sandwich.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Badeaux brought sandwiches.
Oh, good for you.
Sammy is from L.A. We're not from L.A. We're from a little place called Brainerd, Minnesota. And in Brainerd, Minnesota, we have a place called The Barn. And The Barn makes Made-Rite.
Are you seriously going to pick a Made-Rite?
I'm going Made-Rite right off the top of the board.
Sammy's never had one of those.
Sammy has never had a Made-Rite.
I've never even heard of this. When he sent me the list,
no!
That's probably why. That's probably why I was so against this this sandwich. I came in with the mindset that I'm absolutely tearing up whoever chooses this sandwich, and
what a disaster.
Probably rightfully so. This is
disaster of a sandwich.
The Barn is a fine establishment.
Yeah, the Barn's great.
So in Brainerd, Minnesota, we have the Barn, which is this tiny little place. It's been around since the 20s. And it looks like a little barn, like a little tiny shack of a building.
Seats about 12 people.
And it is just a tiny little diner. And it serves an Iowa delicacy called the Made-Rite or loose meat sandwich. I'm not drafting this because I think it's the best sandwich. I'm drafting it because I think it needs a tip of the cap to the ability to have a sandwich that is as basic as it gets. This is ground beef, crumbled, hardly seasoned, some salt, maybe a little pepper.
Little salt. A little bit of salt.
Little salt. And then it is the bottom bun with mustard. She just stacks the onions on there, the pickles, and then literally in these places, you'll just have this, and I'm just going to call it a trough. It's a beef trough. And with an actual spatula, they just scoop that baby on there, stack it high, fold it up, and send you out the door. It is not the best sandwich.
No,
But you're right about that.
definitely not.
But because of my draft position and what I want to draft, I'm selecting it because I think they're iconic, especially in Brainerd, where we're from. It's just falling completely apart. In Brainerd, where we're from,
You're a nostalgia merchant. We're aware.
Yeah, and I think that place specifically, but because these are all over the Midwest and it's such a basic sandwich.
Every Midwestern town has their place to go get this.
Exactly. The crumble beef Made-Rite is Dave Badeaux's #1 selection.
Shockingly bad pick. Just an absolutely horrendous pick. We'll get into the sandwich right now. There's a superior type of sandwich, in my opinion. A sloppy Joe.
Sloppy
Joe is way better than this. I don't know what we're doing here. This is, it's fine. It's food. It goes back to what we were talking about earlier. The pores. Having something to eat, and this is definitely something. This is definitely something.
These were not cheap.
I will say, if you're going out on a date, and if you order your date a Made-Rite sandwich, you're probably not getting it.
Off to Guantanamo.
Off to Guantanamo, exactly.
I think it's great. I think it's fantastic.
It's an okay sandwich.
It tastes fine.
That's high praise.
Yeah.
But
An endorsement.
but it's impossible to eat.
It is impossible to eat. So this in our town, we are the Brainerd Warriors. That is the school's mascot. For lunch during school, they had these and they called them Warrior sandwiches. This is
worst lunch.
Yeah,
That's
Worst lunch.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
No,
I would
no,
eat
we
hot
can't.
lunch.
We can't do that. We can't do that. We can't call this a Warriors meal. Surely not. This is
Absolutely.
This
This is what you're taking on the
this is a what you serve to the prisoners and let them die on the front lines. You're not serving
Ship
the
these sandwiches to Ukraine immediately.
you're not serving this to the cavalry. That's for sure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. In all reality, I love me a Made-Rite. I love me the barn. I can't believe probably the best thing that could have happened is when I pulled one of the sandwiches out of the bag, loose meat just went everywhere.
It was everywhere.
That's the ringing endorsement of itself right there. However, with my second pick,
He brought props. He picked the wrong box.
I did pick the wrong box.
Are you stupid or something?
I'm going with the superior version of the loose meat sandwich, the chopped cheese.
Now this is a sandwich.
Yes.
So
This is a cheeseburger.
I'm not gonna lie. I 100% went Made-Rite just so I can make this selection as well. My draft is starting off a little shaky. I'm at double ground beef.
You lost already.
I'm at double ground
You
beef.
lost.
Yeah.
However, the chopped cheese is something that I didn't even know existed until a decade ago. I'm not from Harlem. I'm not from New York. But I love bodegas. Mm-hmm. I love little delis and little convenience stores. The Santana's down in Minneapolis by the U of M. Such a cool place. That's Armenian though, but you get like the kufta kebabs. You get all your more Middle Eastern fare, let's say. But I love the ingenuity of a place existing where it does and just being successful at what it is. This is, again, a sandwich for people that don't have a ton of money to throw around. And can you maximize the effort that goes into just having the loose meat sandwich in a way that's a little bit more effective? This is the version from Local 218. And I want to go shout out to PJ for this as well. He is originally from New York, brought this to his restaurant here in town, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's better than a Philly. I know that is fighting words. I know it's fighting
that's
words.
just wrong. No,
I think it's better. I actually think it's better. I think it is a delicious freaking sandwich, and it's sticking with my theme.
Ground beef?
Ground beef. Because I'm pulling a Gabe Johnson today. So
thoughts on Sloppy Joe off the board?
Yeah, thoughts on the chopped cheese.
We might have to draft Sloppy Joe. Just someone's gonna have to bite the bullet just so he can't. Right. It would be the worst draft. It'd be the most scandalous moment involving a draft since your Minnesota Vikings skipped a pick.
We ended up with Kevin Williams. It wasn't a bad deal.
And the kick is no good.
Thoughts on the chopped cheese?
It is a deconstructed cheeseburger.
Yeah,
and it's quite good.
It's a bodega surprise.
It's a good sandwich. You're taking a lesser version of a better sandwich. You could have went with the Sloppy Joe, would have been better. You could have went with the cheeseburger here, and it would have been better. Or you could have went with the cheesesteak, and it would have been better.
Get out of here.
Second-rate sandwiches for the mayor.
I've never had a chopped cheese. I'm aware that you are a big fan. You talk about them 2 to 3 times a year on the podcast. So I'm aware that you like them.
Yes.
That's my knowledge of the chopped cheese.
Chopped cheese can go a couple different ways. I believe PJ is into mustard pickle. You can go full Whopper from like Burger King style, with the mayo and ketchup. I think both are delicious. I'm a fan of the toasted, the toasted roll. When you get that roll on the griddle, get that like the top is soft. It's been wrapped, so there's that moisture to it as well. But then when you bite, you get that layer, almost like putting chips on your sandwich. You get that layer of crunch in the middle there. Big fan. I freaking love them. I think they're great. And I'm going to argue. I know it's wrong, but I think it's better than a Philly. I really do. I think it's a better sandwich than the Philly.
You can be wrong.
You've been wrong before.
All right, Gabriel Johnson, you are up again.
Real quick, though.
Yeah.
The Local 218 has a Philly on their menu.
Okay.
And PJ, why the hell are you putting Swiss on it?
Guantanamo. Guantanamo. I'm sorry. We can't do that on the Philly cheesesteak. Nope.
All right, Gabe, back to you.
All right. Spent some time in Florida. Had a ham sandwich. Let's head north. Let's have a Coney Dog.
Damn it.
That is a delicious hot dog smothered in delicious Sloppy Joe. With some cheese and onions. How can you beat that?
I mean, not quite Sloppy Joe, but it's not chili. It is a meat sauce, which it's so much better than a chili dog. It's so much better than a chili dog. It's very similar. It's chili dog adjacent, but it's so much better.
It's meatier.
It's meatier, exactly.
Lips and assholes.
I guess I'm old fashioned. I like assholes.
Mine's a Brainerd Coney Dog. It is Manwich.
It is Sloppy Joe.
Sloppy Joe on a hot dog.
That's the pores. That's the pores for sure.
That is the pores. Thoughts on the Coney Dog, Scott?
I am upset. I wanted that.
Okay. So we wanted one hot dog and we wanted one burger. And this was the one we chose for the hot dog. I still say that the Chicago dog is the superior hot dog. to the chili dog. But in chili dog territory, the Coney dog is worlds beyond any other chili dog.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't go as far to say that the Chicago dog is the best hot dog. I think there's far too much going on that. Like,
it's a lot.
Let's
run it
relax.
through the garden.
Let's relax.
Kind of like it, a little freshness.
Yeah, I was in Chicago a few years ago and was in the park that has that shiny little bean in it. And there's a hot dog stand, and I ordered a Chicago dog. I'm excited. I'm going to have an authentic Chicago dog. And what a piece of shit. Totally disappointing. Not superior to a Coney dog.
Yeah, what's going on with that relish too? It's got to be that stupid
like
neon
teal.
green. It's just like like the shirt that you'll usually wear.
Yeah.
Like that kind of green.
Yeah, it's like Homer Simpson's relish. Right?
Yeah,
It's got the radioactive flair to it.
A little bit, yeah. Delicious, though. I love it. But I will say, there's a reason why the Coney dog was put on here as above the Chicago dog. I also think it's a little bit more like regional specific. Like the Coney dog is a very specific thing. Chili dogs are great. Don't get me wrong. You want to talk about loose meat sandwich being too messy? You can't eat a chili dog. It's impossible. It's impossible.
What are you talking about?
You can
everywhere.
if you're seated. It's tough when you're driving.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
a drive-through, don't order the chili dog.
It's not a portable.
No.
It is absolutely a sit down and
Yeah, but it's
lean.
a meat sauce.
Yeah.
But the sauce binds it together.
Not always. That's why I don't like it. That's why I don't like the chili dog, because the chili dog is inconsistent. The Coney dog is a very specific thing, and it is consistent.
Tip of the cap to all my hot dog is a sandwich friends out there, and a big middle finger to anybody who thinks it's not.
I don't know how
meat and bread. That's a
2 slices of bread and some meat.
Yeah.
I don't know how the argument gets made that it's not. I mean, I get it. It was controversial for a minute to say that, but let's just be honest with ourselves here, people. You put meat between bread.
Yeah, you get the people who want to try to argue that a burger isn't a sandwich either, and again, with taking away people's rights, those people should be sent immediately to Guantanamo Bay.
What we've learned here today is there is a lot of people that are poor that are going to Guantanamo Bay.
Round them up.
Scott, you're up next. You got the Philly, and your next selection, please.
Oh, I think I'm going to have to go with the Lobster Roll.
That was my other choice.
That's a great choice. That is a great choice. Let's talk about it.
I mean, it's lobster.
It's a pretty good protein.
It's a very good sandwich. Just lobster, butter, mayo if you like that.
Right. I love
really good.
I don't think I've ever had it with a lot of butter.
Throw some, get a lemon wedge in there, give it that little acidity. Oof. Oof. Very good. Very good sandwich.
The butter is what makes it. You have to have it on a buttery roll, and then some butter on the lobster, and that's...
Yeah, and those rolls are so good. Flat on either side. Like,
when a place will do that, serving hot dogs like that with that New England style roll, that gets a point up. That gets a point up for me.
Shout out to PJ. The first time I ever had that was at PJ's pool party, and because again from New York, he was like, "No, this is what we will eat our hot dogs on," and I was like, well, "It's kind of right. These are way better, way better." It's like, get rid of that a little bit. It's like just you've kind of sawed off the extra bread from the side.
Yeah, it just makes you think who's the idiot who came up with the hot dog bun? Why did we ever go away from doing this?
Yeah, we had a delicious roll.
We had something perfect here. Why did you go and fuck it up?
I'm a big fan. I don't think I've ever had a really buttery one. I think I would prefer that to the overly mayoed version.
Yeah, too much mayo and it becomes
you might as well have
like a tuna salad.
Yeah, you might as well have a chicken salad at that point, which I love chicken salad, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, there's also if a place will do any filler, with it, no, just lobster only, my friend. That's all we came here for. Don't put any other shit on there.
Lobster and butter. Lobster is nothing without butter.
Yeah.
Oh, try it with the whiz.
Just salted fake cheese, salted soybean oil,
salted seed oil,
a little bit of thickening agent. What's super funny is I haven't had Cheese Whiz in a long time, except for when we decided to make Phillies one night, and we did the thing that's stupid. I did this with the chopped cheese as well, where we're gonna get all versions, and we're just gonna make a bunch of them and just sit down and have like a buffet of it. So we got the Cheese Whiz, and it like unlocked a memory in my head of my grandma always had Cheese Whiz,
always,
and I like in my brain just put that off to the side of the fridge, and. I like opened it up and I was like, oh my God. And now I'm going to put this in the microwave. It's going to burn the top layer.
It's a little bubbly.
It was like literally like went back. Like my
Make
brain,
a skin.
Yeah, my brain went down just a journey of this was like 0.1% of my childhood right here.
Kids gather around.
Everybody, let me tell you about how I burned my fingers by touching the glass after I microwave and burned this product.
But a tip of the cap to Cheese Whiz that still uses a glass jar, I believe.
Yes. Have to. You have to, because you have to be able to put that can or that jar right in the microwave.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, what are we doing? How am I heating this up? Am I spooning it? I just set it all in there, burn it, burn our fingers, tip it. It's like, that's what Cheese Whiz is.
And pour far too much on it.
Yes.
Just completely ruin whatever you were making.
It goes from gelatinous blob to absolutely runny and then back before you even get a chance to eat it. It's amazing. Great job, Kraft.
So yeah, lobster roll.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, Sammy, this is the end for you. You have 2 selections here to make.
Yeah. So I'll go with on the list here. I think there's a superior sandwich on there, but it got back to me and I have a chance to take it again. I'm gonna have to go with the California double meat, double cheese, lettuce, tomato, grilled onions. Have to be grilled onions. You know, if you like pickles, throw some pickles on there, and that Thousand Island dressing, really good.
That's a cheeseburger?
Double cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger.
With Thousand Island dressing.
Yes.
With Thousand Island dressing.
So it's basically In-N-Out animal
In and
style.
out.
Yeah.
In and out animal style.
Ketchup, mustard, mayo,
animal
relish.
style also means that they fry the patties
Yes.
in mustard, which until you have it, there's no really kind of explaining what kind of different flavor it gives. But once you have it, then you're like, wow, yeah, can't go back.
Yeah, I've had In-N-Out. I don't know if I had it animal style. I was pretty drunk.
As is the
That's usually what you
That's
are
when
when
you go.
when you go.
Yeah, but I will say I was really disappointed. People on the internet think In-N-Out
No,
burger
yeah,
is
no.
really good.
People hype it up too much.
Yeah.
But for what you get, and still like In-N-Out is still it's cheaper than a lot of other fast food places. And
so it's for the poors.
it's for the poors. And they use real fresh lettuce, fresh tomato. It's real good from produce wise. But as far as taste of a burger, you can probably get it at a lot better places.
Yeah.
But
I mean, now that you've lived in California.
bang for your buck, In-N-Out's probably still your best bet.
But now that you've lived in California, you've lived in Minnesota, you've tried
I don't
In-N-Out, you've tried
yeah.
In-N-Out, but you've also had a double butter burger deluxe from Culver's.
Yeah, I'm not a big Culver's.
Yes, get the fuck out.
I'm not. I'm not big on Culver's. Funny story: when I first went to Culver's, I didn't know how it worked. So I pull up in the drive-through, and then they put a number on my window on my mirror, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I just go in, I go into the fucking parking lot, and I just park. And I just so I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what?
Do you hate Culver's or do you hate you, Sam?
No. So and then the poor kid, it was fucking so cold, and then he comes out and he's just like, where the hell were you? I'm just like, I'm sorry, dude. I don't know. I didn't know that this is what you're supposed to do.
I don't know how your weird drive-through works.
Yeah, it's so dumb. So dumb. That's dumb.
I am not.
But and then also I didn't know that you have to say literally everything you want on the burger instead of being a normal place and just saying no tomato.
Yeah.
You just say deluxe and it's everything.
They just didn't put anything on my burger. It was just meat and cheese, and I was just like, okay, fuck this place.
So you haven't had the double deluxe?
I guess I haven't had the deluxe then. Yeah,
we'll go there when we're done. After you're done eating your Made-Rite. I want to talk about super fast. So this is the California Double. This is a very specific style of making a cheeseburger. Smash patty, the way to go. We've talked about this. Smash patty is the best way to go for burger. Get that little bit of crunch to the patty. Get that caramelized fat on there. So good. This is weird though, because now that the internet has kind of, made us all aware that the chopped cheese exists, that, the California makes their burgers this way. My whole life, a California burger has been on every menu in every diner I've ever been to. And every time it just means a cheeseburger with lettuce, tomato, onion, and mayo. Who in the fuck got that so ass backwards? I'll never understand, because it's on every single menu. Maybe not anymore. Yeah. But when we were growing up, at least until I was 25 years old, every diner I went to had a California burger, and every single one of them was exactly the same.
I had one today at the Front Street Cafe.
And it was exactly
nice crispy onions. I substitute the tomato for cheese, so mine's not technically a California burger.
You gotta have the onion. Gotta have the onion. The onion is the Now, granted, the Whopper, fantastic sandwich. I'm a big fan of the Whopper for a fast food burger. But the notion that now, like, there is an actual California burger.
Yeah, I guess, like there's another place in California that's really popular. Like the original Bob's Big Boy was like a diner.
Oh, yeah.
So but they also don't do mayo. They do a different sauce. They
do tartar sauce.
Yeah.
Oh wow. They do tartar sauce.
That's crazy.
They do a couple different things that you can put on their burger. But as far as, like the sauce being mayo is the generic California style.
Mayo is so far from California. Like that is, what are we talking about? Mayo is not a California item. That is about as Midwest as you get.
That's Midwest.
That's about as Midwest as you get. So it's Midwest. Midwest saw that burger and was like, oh, we got mayo. Call it California. It's fresh vegetables.
We make nachos without any peppers on
them. That could be why they call it California here. It's fresh produce.
Fresh produce. Yeah. All right. Swinging it home. Your final selection.
Okay. So this is my favorite sandwich.
Okay.
And it's simple. It's a tri-tip sandwich. So what tri-tip is you can't really find it out here, but it's a triangular tip roast from the sirloin, and it's just kind of like a steak. So you just it's just basically a steak sandwich. You slice the meat real thin. You got to cook it. Right. If you get some well done meat, it's gonna taste absolutely terrible. But if you get like medium rare plus on there, nice rosy meat, a little bit of barbecue sauce, and a nice bread, nice roll. So good. The place that does it in California, there's a lot of places that do it really well, but there's Santa Maria style a Santa Maria style grill is kind of like a grill, and you kind of like have a wheel that you raise it up and down that. So that's Santa Maria style meat is tri-tip, and they just cook it up there. There's a couple places like in the hills in Santa Barbara County, way off the beaten path, but they're always just so busy because people will drive, 35 to an hour to get to that sandwich.
That's crazy.
There's some incredible places. It's a really good sandwich.
I think it's crazy that to me, I would have thought you would have went with like some crazy Mexican style meat.
No, that could have their sandwiches like that too. But but no, the tri-tip sandwich. That's if you're ever in California and you're in a place. Another place that does it really well is there's a famous barbecue restaurant in Southern California, Phil's Barbecue.
Oh, I thought you were going
San
to say
Diego.
Sizzlers.
No. Phil's Barbecue in San Diego. It's like by SeaWorld.
Okay.
It's a really good barbecue restaurant, and their tri-tip sandwich is on almost like a Kaiser roll, and it's just it's deli slice, so it's super thin, and then they toss it in a barbecue sauce, and then they throw it back on the grill to kind of cook the sauce too, and it's just it's really good.
For a second there, I thought you were talking about Arby's.
Yeah, no, Arby's is no. It's not Arby's.
All right, so you have pastrami on rye, the California double,
beef,
and the tri-tip sandwich.
Beef.
Beef is the best meat.
It's what's for lunch.
Yeah.
All right, Scott, finish yourself off here. You have the Philly and the lobster roll. You are very East Coast.
Oh,
what do you got?
Let's see.
In the regional, you stayed pretty much at home.
I mean, the pork tenderloin's real good. That's probably my favorite of what's left on the list. But I think you might know where I'm going.
Oh, God.
We're staying east, but a little more south. And we're going to Nashville.
Oh, God.
The Nashville hot chicken sandwich, baby.
The worst fucking chicken
I was surprised
sandwich.
we didn't have a chicken sandwich.
There's no chicken on here at all.
It's because I thought this would happen, that we'd end up with a Nashville hot chicken. I didn't bring it up because I didn't want Nashville hot chicken on the list.
Because you're a fucking loser.
It's the worst. It's the worst chicken sandwich.
No, it's not. It's a normal chicken sandwich.
Dipped in just
It's
heat.
just spicy.
Yeah, but not in a hey, that's delicious way.
No, it's fried chicken.
It's just fried
delicious.
chicken.
And they just made it spicy, and they didn't sully the flavor of the fried chicken itself.
Listen, I got a Made-Rite over here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I clearly have the better taste. I knew you would pick this, and it is why I didn't do a chicken sandwich, because I do think a chicken sandwich is kind of universal as well. Like, chicken sandwich can be anything, but Nashville is very regional. It is a Nashville chicken sandwich. It's crazy that it came on about 10 years ago nationally and just took off like a rocket.
Yeah.
People were all about it. And then people like myself were like, that's not very good.
Is that just because you just can't handle spice?
No,
or?
it's because
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm a vinegar.
Yeah.
He likes
I'm
vinegar. He wants
I'm
a buffalo
vinegar.
chicken sandwich.
Well, not necessarily. But like in my barbecue, I like Carolina sauce. I like vinegary sauces. I want a little bit of something in there. I do like a chicken sandwich with a pickle and some butter. I think that's a delicious, simple chicken sandwich. Nashville chicken, throw a pickle on there. We'll probably be talking a little bit. Probably be talking.
That's what you do.
But
it's mayo, spicy chicken, pickled on plain ass white bread.
I just want for the
Make
video
that
there,
again. Make
for
that
the video
again.
there.
Do that again.
A nice jack off motion.
Slower.
But no, we'll have more crumbled beef on the counter. For myself, I like black pepper better than I like cayenne pepper. And if you know me, like when I get my chicken wings from you, salt and black pepper the shit out of it, salt the shit out of it, and I'm good to go. I like that flavor. Cayenne pepper has no flavor.
Correct.
And that's why you like it. That's why I don't like it.
Yeah, like I said, it doesn't change the flavor of the fried chicken.
Yeah.
It just makes it spicy.
Yeah.
And I like things spicy.
Too spicy. Too spicy. Gabe, Nashville chicken, go.
I don't really like spicy things.
Your German heritage.
Give me maybe some jerk chicken. That's about the max. I'll go.
I just did a jerk chicken pizza yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, and a couple weeks ago, I did a Nashville hot chicken and waffles pizza.
That's probably pretty good. You get that little bit of sweet in there, a little bit of maple, a little crunch. Yeah, see, I would do that. If you had chicken and waffles that was Nashville, I'd be in. Even a little honey. And when the places that throw a little honey onto the Nashville chicken, I would be on board. But just straight cayenne to me, I just want some kind of flavor introduced. Otherwise, just give me a chicken sandwich. Okay, Gabe, final selection.
All right, Scott, I got to commend you on going steak, lobster, chicken.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You have a variety.
Yeah.
It's a good draft. Head south from Detroit. Just go down the road from Nashville over to Memphis.
Oh.
And I'm drafting the Elvis.
Okay.
Peanut butter, banana, bacon, toasted.
I love it. I love it.
Surprise! Cock bags!
What a fucking pig. He shocked the world.
I am going to admit, not a huge Cuban fan. Coney Dog is great. But when you just go straight the Elvis, it's hard to compete with that.
It's a pretty good sandwich.
That's a fucking phenomenal pick. That wasn't even on my radar.
No.
I was worried when you were headed back down south.
Let's give the full rundown on it. Let's talk about it.
Okay, so I grew up poor. And I had Elvis sandwiches growing up.
Yeah?
Save the bacon. That's expensive. So it was just peanut butter banana sandwiches.
Yeah.
But then I grew up and get a little money in my pocket and started throwing bacon on that shit. That's a good sandwich.
Bacon and peanut butter are a fantastic combination. And then the banana is like, wait a minute. Because banana and peanut butter are great. Bacon and peanut butter are great. You put the two together, you can't have any more of a sandwich. You've sandwiched two great things together. You can't go with the crunchy peanut butter, though. It's got to be straight.
No, it's got to be creamy peanut butter. Yeah.
I do like the crunchy peanut butter in most instances. I'm a crunchy peanut butter guy. I like the little bit of the chew. I like the little crunch. I do.
Give me a bag of chips.
Okay. Yeah. However, in this instance, you want that just gooey.
Yep.
Gooey.
You get a little bit of crisp from the bacon. You want the bacon well cooked.
Yeah. Overly cooked? Are you a almost burnt bacon guy?
I'm a crispy bacon guy. Okay. I wouldn't call it burnt. When it gets too crispy, it's no good. I don't really want much chew to it at all.
I wonder what like a candied bacon. Have you ever had candied bacon?
I actually have not.
Okay,
surprisingly,
it's really interesting because it's a thicker cut, so you would think it would be like chewy, like almost like beef jerky. But because of the way that the sugar on there goes, it makes it almost like crumbly. You know, like I don't know how to really describe it. There's not a pull to it at all. Surprisingly good. I thought
is it surprising?
Yeah, because
well, candied bacon. This is gonna suck.
I'm not a big like dip it in sugar guy, so I didn't think I thought like okay, you're getting a
sweet and
gimmicky.
savory is always a good combo.
But you're getting a little
you're getting
gimmicky.
the savoriest meat.
Yeah.
And you're just throwing sugar on it. I mean,
well, I'm not a big maple bacon guy.
Surprisingly, it tastes good.
Yeah. he was shocked.
I'm not really into the syrup getting on my bacon. I'm not really into the maple bacon at all. Like I get the flavor out of there. I just want, again, I'm a purist when it comes to my meats.
There's a butcher back home who after the county fair, he'll butcher the pigs for, the people who buy the pigs at the livestock auction. And he has a phrase that he says, when people like ask, what kind of sausage do you want? What kind of flavoring to your sausage that you want? And they'll, some people ask for maple. And he says something about the people who order maple that probably can't be said over the airwaves.
Oh, it can. When we have. We've been getting it started lately.
Yeah. There's a double G. There's a double G in that word.
Oh!
Hold on. Is there an I or an F? Is there an I or an A?
No, it's an F. It's an F with a double G.
Okay. Yeah, no. You were going, okay.
No, definitely not that.
Abort even talking about it. I was not there. I was here.
I was there.
Okay. Oh, you were? I was with you.
Yeah, no, he was picking up what I was putting down.
I knew what you meant. I just thought we should clarify.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I actually love it, Gabe. It's a fantastic choice. And there's a specific spot that he used to get them as well. And I'm forgetting it off the top of my head. But yeah, just this idea.
Graceland, it's called.
Well, no. This is a sandwich that existed that he found. There
was a diner in Memphis? Okay, cool.
And then Elvis fell in love with this thing. Okay, folks. It's time to get serious.
It's Sloppy Joe time.
It's time to get serious.
What kind of loose meat do we have here?
I've been fucking around a little bit. I've been pulling a Gabe Johnson. I went all loose.
My drafts are all good.
I know they are, but I went loose meats here. I'm going to say this right now, that right now, if I could draft a sandwich thing right now, the Italian beef, I would go pretty hard on. I like an Italian beef, sometimes too wet. I'm not a huge get my sandwich wet guy.
Yeah, I'm not a big Italian beef guy.
Really? I like it.
If I'm going to do that, I'm just going to get a Philly.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I would accept that. I love a straight deli sub sandwich, like a JJ Gargantuan from Jimmy John's, Jersey Mike's, just straight
Italian meats,
Jersey Mike style.
Yeah.
Delicious. A little bit of your vinegar.
Yeah.
Little vinegar.
Jeez, why are you yelling at us?
I would like both of those. I also would love
the tenderloin.
The pork tenderloin. I'm going to say this. Get in there. Get in there, please. Please partake. Get in there. Have you ever had a pork tenderloin sandwich?
No.
Okay, you're going to try this then. So the first time I had this from PJ, and it's probably a little soggy now. It's been sitting in this thing. I love.
You should have drafted this earlier.
I love the simplicity. I love the simplicity of it.
That's good.
Yeah, give me that other. You take the pork tenderloin, you pound it out, and in this case, not quite as large as I'd like it. I'd like it to be gigantic.
Yeah.
And then mustard, pickle, lettuce. That's it. I love sandwiches with mustard, pickle, maybe onion, maybe lettuce, and that's it. I think it is such a great way to make a sandwich. That would also be one of my choices. The po' boy is on here, also delicious. I'm not a huge seafood guy, but the po' boy is delicious. However, folks, I'm sticking to my guns. I am going with another crumbled beef sandwich. I am going with the Native American fry bread taco.
Excuse me? A baking powder?
The what?
The Native American fry bread taco.
I didn't see that one at the menu at any restaurant ever. It's so good, nobody ever ordered it.
Here in this area, you've been to the Crow Wing County Fair. They have the ufta taco. It is basically the same idea. You're taking a bread, you're deep frying it, and then piling taco toppings on top of it. My decision in the sandwich category was to stick not with what is the best sandwich, but with just nothing but crumbled beef. And God damn it if the taco isn't the most delicious of the portables. It is not a sandwich, but in this instance, it 100% is a sandwich.
Yeah, that's like an open-faced sandwich, right?
It is, except yes and no. Like when you get an ufta taco, it's just served on a plate and you eat it like open face. But if you're really, getting in there, eating it like you traditionally would, you just fold that baby up and it is just fried bread stacked with taco meat. And this guy would come and...
Yeah, no, ground beef isn't taco meat. Well, no.
Unseasoned ground beef.
This is partially why I wanted to do this, because I'm leaning really hard into
there's taco meat on this one too.
Ridiculousness. I am leaning in a little into ridiculousness, but it's fantastic. It's such a unique thing that regionals maybe a stretch, because the Native Americans are everywhere in the U.S. and they all seem to have this. I don't know.
Not so much in the Southeast.
Yeah, no. Back home, the Chumash, they don't have this.
Sure. I would say like New Mexico a little bit.
That's New Mexico and California are completely different.
Well, it's
two different states.
Separated by another state.
The Chumash are more of they're a tribe. They lived on the beach,
seafood,
on the water.
Really?
So they did a lot.
I'm not even aware of that.
Abalone and that was a big part of their
fish
diet.
tacos.
Fishing again.
Yeah.
Maybe when they fried their bread, they did actual meat in there, not ground beef. There's some fish in there.
Listen,
you're saying beef is the superior meat, and then you're shitting all over the
ground beef,
the highest selling beef product.
Here's why.
Who knows what's really in the ground beef?
Here's why I did.
As I took a burger.
Here's why I did this in my selection. A beef is so fucking good. It's so good. You don't even need to do anything to it. You can just crumble it and put it on.
You just throw it on some bread.
And
don't even season it.
It's delicious. You don't even need anything. You can just be completely poor and just you don't even have to keep the burger patty together. It can completely fall apart and still be delicious. And I know that there are way better sandwiches. There are way better cuts of meat. But God damn it, if just straight beef is not delicious. And I'm going to tip the cap to the Native Americans for their fry bread. It's awesome. It's just it's a donut only without sugar. It's really good. It's really good. And the best way to do it is to make it a taco in the vein of what Minnesotans would call a taco.
Yes.
I don't know how often you guys do this, if you guys have ever done this, but I think for this draft in particular, we should give you an extra pick and just give you the Sloppy Joe to round out your board.
Well,
too much sugar.
We'll gift you the Sloppy Joe.
Too much sugar.
You'll also get the Sloppy Joe just to round out your board with four ground beef sandwiches.
At least the sloppy has some seasoning on it.
No, you're ruining. Well, the taco technically has seasoning, but I don't know how heavy into the seasoning the Native Americans get. I don't know. I haven't been consistently had this.
It's all regional. In Minnesota, probably not much.
Probably
in Mexico,
not much.
probably quite a bit.
Well, I don't know. You'd be surprised. I think when you get into like your barbacoa and stuff like that, yes. But I think like ground beef, which they don't even really eat, I don't think they would super over season that in that region. But that's coming from a guy that knows nothing about how they actually consume.
Yeah, me neither. I'm just talking.
Yes. I will say that for Minnesota, the way that our mom prepared tacos, which we ate a lot of, we ate a lot of tacos, the Old El Paso seasoning.
Yeah.
It's taco sauce?
Either that or Ortega.
Ortega tacos, Ortega taco sauce is delicious. But the Old El Paso seasoning, don't fuck.
Yeah, that stuff's made in New York City.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I'm sure they're both divisions of craft, so it doesn't matter either way. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of this. We have come to a conclusion, and the conclusion is that Dave won with his crumbled beefs. I, of course, have the Native American fry bread. I have the chopped cheese. And I have probably the best sandwich that's ever been made.
It was made right.
The Made-Rite.
And the bonus Sloppy Joe.
Gets that added in.
Get it out of here.
Out of pity.
Get it out of here. Gabe, you went with the Cuban, the Coney Dog, and the Elvis.
The pick of the draft.
I will say, tip in the cap. Scott, you went with two sandwiches that I argue against. But the Lobster Roll, delicious. The Philly and the Nashville chicken.
Yep.
Sammy, you started off strong, and then you just went home. You went all the way to New York with the pastrami on rye, and then you just went right to your go-tos, the California double cheeseburger and the tri-tip sandwich.
Probably the two sandwiches that I've consumed most in my life, I would say. I think that's a fair thing to say.
Strangely, I went with sandwiches that I've probably consumed the least of. I've had each of these about 5 times.
Yeah, I've had a tri-tip steak. I don't think I've ever had a tri-tip sandwich. And I think the way you described it made it sound good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't believe you've had the Native American, whatever the five times.
No, maybe not 5 times. Well, no. I've had the ufta taco, which is
that's not the Native American fry bread.
It is.
It's just ground beef.
Yeah, that's what we're doing here. We're just basically we're frying bread, and then we're making a Minnesota style taco on top of it. It's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. Kind of like a chalupa, sort of. It's kind of how you could describe it, but not really. I love the pastrami on rye pick. Haven't had the tri-tip, so I can't give you any love there. The California
once
burger.
you have it, it's basically just a steak sandwich. How can you go wrong?
Right.
You can go wrong. You can go wrong with steak sandwiches.
The meat,
you made it dry.
You cook the steak. You cook the steak wrong. You cook the steak wrong, and it's bad. But
I will argue that steak sandwiches on menus is the item you need to avoid the most.
I would agree.
Yep. The chance
too easy to find.
There's the chance that you're getting a good steak sandwich on a menu. Very little chance. So,
I think that just speaks more of Minnesota restaurants in general because we don't have the problem in California.
The amount of times I've had to like unlock my jaw after getting it stuck chewing on the biggest piece of fat that there's some.
That's bad.
Trust me. Like, where did you find this meat? Anyways, all right, let's go ahead and get out of here. Sammy, any final thoughts on Minnesota before you leave?
You know, I met a lot of people in this past year. I met a lot of good people.
A lot of
shit people, but I will cherish the year I spent here. Made some relationships that I'll hold dearly. There's a lot of people here that I hope to keep in touch with. But yeah, you guys can keep this fucking weather though.
I think it's hilarious that you're leaving now because it's the beginning of November. You got 2 months before it gets anywhere near
unseasonably warm.
Unseasonably warm.
Yeah. We should be pretty cold by now.
We should have a layer of snow by now.
Yeah. But yeah, you got,
once I leave is when it's going to start snowing.
You got lucky because the last week of January, first 2 weeks of February, it is Siberia. It's crazy how cold it gets for 3 weeks.
You'll die if you are outside for longer than 10 seconds.
Yes. Yeah. It gets to the point.
Yeah. There was that 1 week here this past winter where it was like -10.
Yeah, it's nothing.
That's nothing. I know it's not. I know it's nothing to you, but to me it was.
to me, it was cold.
To me, it was pretty bad. My eyes were freezing.
Yeah,
my nose hairs were, getting the Andy Reid walrus.
Yep.
So
tusks. There gets to be a point where it's silent. Like you go outside at night and it's silent.
Yeah.
And then when it gets really cold, you can hear like cows like
complaining.
You're like, oh, that's just pain. Even the cows are bad.
That's one of my favorite things about winter, not the cows being in
the
pain.
Silence.
When you get that real heavy layer of snow and everyth's just all the sound, it's just dampened.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah. There's no sound at all. And when it gets cold, the animals, nothing. There's nothing. It is and even the way that things smell changes in that cold because your nostrils and stuff can't even smell the same. So there's like this devoid. It's almost like
So you're going to miss out on that, Sam.
Yeah. You guys are really selling it.
Go on,
you guys are really selling it.
Go on back to the beach.
Yeah, I'm staying now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to Sammy. Thank you to the Boutros.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you to Gabriel Johnson.
You.
And thank you to all of you out there who enjoy a good crumble beef sandwich. You're the good ones. And F you, New Jersey, and your Taylor ham.
I agree.
We're done. I'm not going to lie. I just because every sandwich is delicious. So I was just
duh.
The whole time.
Yeah. We didn't believe that you actually like a Made-Rite sandwich.
They're so good. They're so kind of good.
That was
just making a fucking burger.
Yeah, that's an incredibly poor sandwich.
Personally, the best way to do a cheeseburger is a smash burger double. So that you get that stuff. I'm actually surprised that the Juicy Lucy didn't get put on there or didn't get mentioned. I'm not a Juicy Lucy guy. Yeah. I would much rather have a smash burger, double it up, get the extra cheese. And Matt's Bar, I had not been to Matt's Bar until last year, actually, when we took Isabel to college. We went down and actually sat and had a Juicy Lucy there. And they're good. The best Juicy Lucy I've had, for sure. I don't like waiting though. Like once I start to eat it, I want to eat it. I don't want to figure out if I can or can't.
You can't go into that thing just guns blazing.
Yeah,
hot pocket
up your mouth.
Yeah, can I physically consume this? Is not on my menu.
They're not having any Juicy Lucy eating contests
No.
ever.
I mean, I have that problem with hot dogs sometimes, though, too. Sometimes you can't really tell for sure how hot the hot dog is on the inside. And it'll shoot hot juice into you.
Chicken wings as well. Chicken wings will get you because I get a lot of chicken wings from Scott. And just
when
leave,
he has them.
just leave them in the box, Dave. Just leave them in the box until you get home. Stop trying to eat them in the car on the way home.
I've heard of car fries. I've never heard of car wings. That's pretty remarkable there.
I like chicken wings a lot.